Good afternoon, Gossip Talk Shows family. It's Numsa here at Gossip Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. With me today, I am with Dr. Biget. How are you, Dr. Biget?
I'm doing wonderful, Numsa. And how are you this afternoon or morning or evening, wherever you're watching from? And how are you, Numsa?
So, our topic today is 40 signs you're falling in love. So, are you falling for someone but not quite sure? So, in this video, we're going to explore unmistakable signs that you are head over heels in love, from the butterflies in your stomach to prioritizing their happiness. So, these heartwarming signs might just confirm what you are feeling. What do you think about the topic, Dr. Biget?
I think it is such a wonderful topic because in my work as a grief specialist coach, many times people don't realize that grief is the other side of love. You will never grieve if you never love or care enough. And so it's always wonderful to see all the things that people experience and do and feel when they are falling in love, and refreshing, I might say, because sometimes when somebody grieving, they kind of like, oh, everything is so doom and gloom. And then when we're feeling love, it's everything so beautiful. And the truth is, you're going through the same physio through a lot of physiologic, not just emotional experience, even when you're falling in love, which we can talk a little bit more in just coming up. But I think it's a beautiful topic. I tend to say grief and love is the other side of the same coin, and you are the coin.
Of
You mean?
that, Dr. Biggett, I think falling in love is a beautiful thing when people um, fall in love with each other, and that person is always in their mind, and sometimes they catch themselves dreaming about that person in the relationship. But sometimes people can be like, "Oh, am I falling in love too soon? What do you think?" And things like that. Sometimes I hear my clients, they're like, "Do you think I'm falling in love?" I'm like, "You just have to go with the flow because you can't control how you feel when it comes to the feelings for the other person towards the other person. So you just have to be in the moment and just enjoy it and not making it feel wrong." And they're like, "How? What can I tell them that I love them and stuff?" And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." I'm like, I think when the time is right, things happen. But I think holding back is sometimes like, what do you think about when somebody falls in love and then they feel like, are they falling in love too soon or things like that? I think for me, love is real, is so beautiful. So you shouldn't hide it if you're feeling that. But as long you're not falling in love for the wrong reasons. What do you
Yeah.
think, Dr. Piget?
And I would say that is very true. Yeah, funny that you said you're falling in love for the wrong reasons. I think, to me personally, there is no wrong reason to fall in love. And at the same time, it is, are you falling in love to the persons, or are you falling in love to their titles, or are you falling in love to their look, or their pocketbook, or what have you? I mean, love is not wrong. It's not wrong that you fall in love with the person versus the title versus the pocketbook, right? It's what you love. But then I would say, if you fall in love with their title or their pocketbook, then just realize and be honest with yourself that, hey, you actually love their pocketbook and not the person. And in that scenario, you might want to be mindful what you're loving. If you tell somebody that you love them, and it's kind of, is it ever too early to love somebody or something? No, a lot of people actually ask me that way as well. Is it okay? Why can't why do I suddenly love this person, or why can't I stop loving somebody? And we know that love, in a term of grief specialists and emotions and feelings, we know that your feelings always valid, whether you feeling suddenly love someone or you feeling suddenly you just despise somebody, your feelings always valid. It's kind of like I personally think people think a bit too worry, and this is usually because of life experience and society and things like that about loving someone. But like if you ever have a puppy, for instance, and anybody who love dogs, they got a puppy, and then just like they'll get to know the puppy, and then 3 days later they're like, oh my gosh, I so in love with the puppy, and I would do anything and everything under the sun for the puppies, and anything about the puppy, and they talk about the puppies and all things puppies suddenly, right? Now we can say it puppy love. Well, there's, at least in the US, there's a saying for that, that it's just a phase and then you got over it. But a lot of the puppy love, being seeing the other end of that, a lot of this puppy love actually lasts because the puppies usually don't talk back and cause problem. And that is and so if you fall in love, I feel, me personally, it's never too early or too late. You muted.
Okay. Okay, Zoom is not allowing me to speak, to unmute myself. I like that, Dr. Bickett, when you say sometimes the people, they fear of the society and stuff, falling in love, we shouldn't fear, you should just express it. But sometimes I think infatuation, it can be mistaken falling in love because it's like, it can feel intense and passionate, and it can be based on idolizing that one when someone is busy idealizing the other person, and they may think that they are in love. So you have to make sure that the love you feel is real, and it's not a mixed feelings and stuff. So it's really, really important. But if you do fall in love, like Dr. Biggett says, don't hide it, just express it, because it is so special, and each day is really, really truly special. And also your happiness is really, it really, really matters, because when someone falls in love, they smile a lot. They're like, this person, he has never made me feel this way. Like no one has ever made me feel this way. And I always, when somebody tells me these things, I'm like, I wish I can hear this 10 years later in a relationship, because it's so beautiful, guys, when you fall in love with somebody, but then it fades away. People that they forget what was the reason they fell in love. They feel these butterflies. They they just feel so alive. But being alive, it should be like everyday thing. So, but when you meet someone and they make you feel so special, make sure that you don't hide it, because even if you have not said the words "I love you," they can tell that, you know what, this, they can tell the way you look at them, the way you smile. They can tell that this person really, really accept me for me. So I think that that's really, really important. And don't hide the feelings, just express them. What else do you suggest, Dr. Biggett?
Excuse me. I love that you say don't hide the feeling and express them. Sometimes I think people worry about they say, oh, if I tell them, it might make them run, right? Because of everybody their own life experience. Perhaps the persons you are in love with has XYZ experience. If you use the word love, they run. I know many clients when they first come to me and they were still traumatized from past relationship. They're like, oh God, I think they just want to get me XYZ or something or become uncomfortable. And I think one of our members shared that she used to be that way, shouldn't. And so, and so, but expressing love is not always word. And I love when you say the infatuations, because if you're infatuations, it's like you want to say it all the time and things like that. Now that's understandable. That is part of the feeling of love at the beginning. But expressing any feeling is not it doesn't always take words. Like you say, Nimsa, it's like even just the way you smile, it's the way you act. There is a saying that uh, actions speaks 1,000 words, something like that. And so if you show up and you care about the persons and you express it in your demeanor, in your behavior, that can tell the other persons that that you love them. And also when you actually feel the love in your heart, we know nowadays through studies, through experiments and studies, we know nowadays that what you feel inside, kind of like you said, but we do actually know through studies that the other person can feel it. Even if you sit there and just be quiet, I don't anybody sometimes might have experience here, or somebody just sit there for them and be quiet. Let's say you're having a tough time, and somebody just sit there with a compassion for them and they don't say too much, you can feel it. And the same thing in this case, you can just come in and smile and look at them lovingly. The other person can feel that too. And so it's not always having to say a lot of words, but it is allowing yourself to fully feel the love. And of course, you want to be at a state to be able to feel that, and then allowing yourself, actually allowing your behavior to express your love.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dr. Bickett. I like it when you say sometimes they get scared if they tell them they feel that they will run. I always say to my clients, listen, I always say, if someone is meant for you, they will never run. But if they're not meant for you, they run because they're not meant for you. But anything else that it comes from God, that is a gift from the universe, it will never run because it means that that person came as a gift for you and they are happy to get to know you. And when you are getting to know somebody, they shouldn't have any doubt, like to say, like make sure that you work on yourself in a way that when you're meeting that person and spending time with them, you are actually like looking at the compatibility, no questioning yourself, because your feelings should be expressed normal when you smile. Your smile should be like natural. You're wanting me like when you meet that person, when you remember the details that they tell you, every little details they tell you, when you remember those details, if they've got children, and you say, how are the kids? And if they've got work, or even at work, if they've got little problems, when you ask them, when you meet them, those little things, it shows that this person cares. So you can't focus on heading over heels and stuff. You have to focus on the details as well. And also focus on who that person is. It's really, really important. And just enjoy the process of just falling in love with that person without questioning your if you are good enough or anything. For me, I believe, what do you think, Dr. Bigot, these people like when the guy, when a woman says, okay, I'm gonna give you my time and go on a date with you. For me, I believe that if somebody says, I wanna spend time with you, it means what they saw from the beginning, they like it. So you should not be questioning whether you're good enough or anything, because why do you think that person is better than you? So that's the question that I always ask myself. Why do people always feel the guy is actually better than them and them they're not better? Like, do you think I'm on his league, or do you think I'm good enough? Or do you think he's gonna like me? Or do you think he likes me? And I'm like, when somebody chooses you, they choose to be with you. Enjoy the ride. What do you
Yeah.
think, Dr. Bighead?
Well, why somebody, think that if I understand the questions, why somebody says I'll go on a date with you or this and that, and then the other person
Or
says,
questioning whether they are good enough. Like,
yeah.
okay,
And
yeah,
a lot of times, truth be told, that anybody questioning whether they are good enough come from some form of trauma or society influence, one of the two. Usually it's a combination of a little bit of both. If you really look at babies, anybody here look at babies, when they're baby and when they're children growing up, they are not sitting there and say, I don't know, am I good enough? Am I good enough to eat this banana? Am I good enough to be loved by mom and dad? Which is love. Am I good enough to be loved by my sibling or my pets or my whomever that the babies learn to know? They don't. They don't. The children, kids. Am I good enough for a pacifier? Those pacifiers say you have a baby, and then the baby saw a pacifier, and the baby want a pacifier, and they're like, I want a pacifier. They don't sit there like, wonder if I'm going to be good enough a pacifier. Am I good enough to play with this toy? This doesn't happen like that. But guess what happened? As the baby grow up, somebody say, no, that's not for you. And then as the baby grow up more, who do you think you are? You said you want to become a pilot. Who do you think you are? You want to become a successful doctor. One of my past experience. Look at you, and the baby, even children when they first learning to walk, right? This at that age, at the early age, they didn't say, "I wonder if I'm gonna be good enough to walk from here to there." I wonder if I'm gonna be good enough to get up and get that toy that I love. I wonder if I'm going to be good enough to go to grandma and say I love her and grandma going to love me back. Now the kid doesn't process all these things. They're not overthinking. They just feeling their feelings, and that's the other part of that. But the so the and then over time they're hearing this and that, and somebody said, look at you, who do you, of course. And then they're hearing from, as they grow up, usually kids, sometimes if they're fortunate, they wait all the way until teenager. But a lot of kids nowadays in the society, they start hearing the drama that the parent watching, and they start hearing, oh, they're watching the movie, and somebody said, oh, you're not good enough for me. And then somebody says, oh, that's just that's not adequate. And then somebody else says, oh, that's not true love, they just want this. And then somebody else says this, and it's all the whole thing that's the society said. When the kid come here, their mind is pure, and then all this thing messed up with your mind, your mind, and then some of them, because they are hurtful, perhaps you wanted something, and then your parents says, who do you think you are? You only this, you only that. Well, only this. Perhaps this is the parents' perceptions. You know what? Poor people. We're not millionaire. We can't be that. What do you think you want to do that? No, that's only for these people. What is? It's a parents, but they're imposing it on you, and then now you're adopting this. And of course, by the time you are 18,
Not
and
out.
you by the time you are 18, you kind of like, but if you look at teenagers, you look at the teenagers, they kind of like still positive, right? But then by the time you're 40, after you're telling yourself that many times from your past trauma that is not resolved, you're not good enough, then you are and then you kind of creating it in a reality. Then many times we kind of believe that, okay, we might not be good enough. We might not be good enough.
I think yeah, you are right, Dr. Bigot. We get like our childhood attachment. We have to deal with them before we can start going on dates and stuff, and to understand that we are individual and we are good enough. And when that person chooses you, they choose you because they see something great about you. They see that you're special. And judging yourself, I think it shouldn't be, um, people shouldn't judge themselves and think that they are good enough or think they are better than the other person. I think you just need to enjoy the ride if you are feeling nervous as well, and just express how you're feeling and also get excited because when that person chooses to be with you, they want to get excited as well. And they want to have, but what I would suggest is don't prioritize, because sometimes when somebody falls in love, the plans, like they start prioritizing that person, so they have to go through a test, guys, ladies and gentlemen. A woman has to go through a test, a man has to go through a test when you're falling in love for them, with through that process of falling in love. Sometimes even when you're free, when they call you, but don't do it in a way that they realize. Or sometimes if you're free, when they say, "Oh, would you like to go out tonight?" Just say, "Actually, tonight I'm spending time with my mom, or I'm spending time with my girlfriends. Can we do maybe day after tomorrow or tomorrow? What do you think?" Don't just like look desperate, because they have to go through a test. And when you do that, you have to realize, are they controlling? Because if they're like controlling, it will show up. Like to say, "Oh, what, I thought we could just go." If somebody asks you to go out, they can't assume that, okay, if they have a thought, like if I have a thought and then I'm like, I need to go out with Dr. Bigot for coffee. So my action will be, on my mind will be, let me check first if Dr. Bigot is free for coffee today. But if Dr. Bigot is not free for coffee today, it shouldn't be an issue, a problem to me. I shouldn't feel that, why is she saying she's not free? So all I should be asking now, Dr. Bigot, is, okay, so when are you available so we can go, girl, and get some coffee? And then Dr. Bigot, and then it will suggest it based on her schedule to say, okay, Nomsa, I'm free on this day. Let's go grab a coffee. But if the guy now or the woman now start like making you feel bad, you have to look at those as like red signs. Yeah, so you have to look into those things and just do it again and see how he is going to react, because you want to make sure that he's not going to start controlling you when you are in a relationship. So just do these easy things, that don't play games. I know there are some coaches out there who suggest that in order for him to fall for you, play games, or they say in order for her to fall for you, to want you more, play games. You can't play games with somebody's mind. Be straight, be like, just be on point, be authentic. If you're not available, you're not available. If there are questions that you need to understand, about them, do not hesitate to ask those questions. Do not go and ask your girlfriend because your girlfriend, they are not the manufacturer. So when we buy clothes, we have to go to the shop and buy clothes. And if clothes, we're not sure if the clothes fit, we have to go back to the shop where we bought them or the manufacturer. We contact the designs or the designer of those clothes. We don't go and ask somebody else. So you have to, if you don't feel too sure about something, ask the guy, ask the woman. It makes a relationship, it makes a habit, create that habit from the beginning of asking questions, communicating with the person. What do you think, Dr. Biget? Because I personally think I come across like sometimes the women, they'll be like they fall for the guy, and the guy does things they don't like, and they're still hoping that the guy is gonna get better or the woman is gonna get better, things are gonna get better, and the more they fall in love, and sometimes they even get engaged, they even get married, and then if you few some last few months, some years, and then it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think two things with that. I believe in honesty. And so, but I also believe, as you said, Nimsa, in if so, you don't need to turn your life upside down and inside out for somebody. In other words, like you said, if somebody says, "Oh, can you go out today or this day or that day?" and then you simply says, you already really do have something to do, and even if that something to do is you know you plan to clean your house that Saturday, and you haven't been cleaning your house, well then be honest. Be honest. I believe, I do believe it. I don't believe in playing games. I believe in honesty. Because when you are playing games and when you are lying, the first person you're lying to, just know this. You know this. But many people know this, but many people don't really realize this. There's a difference between knowing and actually realizing and understanding this. But when you lie or play games, the first person you're lying and playing games with is yourself, right? And so for me, I don't feel I ever want to play games with myself. But at the same time, it does not mean you turn your life, because a lot of people do this where they accommodate. They kind of like, oh, I cancel this plan, that plan, and on just to accommodate the person. It doesn't mean you have to do that. And yes, as you said, if you say no, I actually really have something to do already, and the other person get really upset, then you kind of might want to say, okay, am I supposed to cater and tailor my life to him or her for the rest of my life? And if that's not what you want to do, probably you don't want to be doing that, right? And from the get-go, and the other part is talking about hoping somebody going to change. You can't change anybody that doesn't want to be changed. And we know that as a coach, as coaches, particularly as grief coach, where grief is all about feelings, you feelings, and even if people's habit, it's like if they don't want to be changed, you can't change them. Now sometimes we people actually say, you know I thought my love and my care will change them. But here's the thing. Are you their therapist? Hopefully not, because therapy is not supposed to be dating their own client. So if you're not their therapist, it's not your job. Never mind, you probably don't know what happened in their life If you only know the person, even if you've known the person for a year, for instance, by the time you meet them, they have 30, 40, at least 20 something years behind them. Why are you taking on a job of more than a therapist? Even a therapist don't try to change a person. They're simply trying to change things that bother that person. Same thing with with coaches, right? We are not trying to. Some people come to me and say, "I don't want you to fix me." I said, "Whoa, please stop there. I'm not interested in fixing you. You guys, like, you come in for me with grief. I'll help you with the grief. I'm not interested in fixing you. Not that
Yeah,
I do. So yeah, that's it's be yourself. Be yourself. That I think is what it is. Be yourself. Don't turn your life upside down for somebody, and don't try to change them inside out either.
yeah, that is really important what you are saying, Dr. Biggett, that we believe that we can change someone even no matter how much we give them the love and care. We think that love, that care is going to change somebody. But what we forget is we are all wounded, so we don't know what that person has been through in life. And what we need to remember is to have this moment where we have fun and just enjoy the moment. And I like when you say, uh, like we hoping that this person, when we do this, they're going to change. Love is natural, guys. It has to come natural. When you somebody looks at you, when they spend a time with you, they have to be like eager with that person. Has to be interested in your life, like to say, okay, tell me, what does your week look like? Getting excited for you to tell them, and they were like, okay, so have you got like free times for us to spend time together and stuff? So it's just like they're there to mentor you as well, to motivate you. They're not there to control you and trying to fix you or trying to change you or anything. I always say to myself, well, if you were to say I'm going to change Nomsa, that would be a waste of time, because there is no way that I will let a man enter my life and try to change me. I was raised by two men. When I was raised by my dad, I was raised by my dad and my stepdad. They're both my daddies. So they raised me to be like a soldier, look after myself. And they raised me to understand that when somebody enters our lives, they don't enter to rescue us, or they're not coming to rescue me. They're just coming to spend that time with me, to enjoy every moment and share my world. And I share my world with them, my dreams, my hopes, and everything has to align. So I think that moment when we fall in love, some people, what takes over is the excitement. When someone makes you feel like no one has ever made you feel like that before, it takes over it overlooks, you end up overlooking everything. So in the process of that true love, guys, look at the red flags as well. So that's truly, truly, truly important, because the red flags as well, they're gonna help us to see whether this person is gonna be good in the future with us and stuff. And but don't like hold back. I don't like people who are holding back when they're doing something. Go all in with love and forget about who has hurt you. Because, like, if you look at me and Dr. Biggett, we are here. Dr. Biggett, she's a grief coach. I'm a relationship coach. So we're two different things. We're individual, but we are connected somehow. Somehow, our work it connects with each other. So, it meaning that whoever you have met before that has hurt you, And this person, this woman that you are meeting now, they are individual and they are writing their own story, and enjoy that story without any doubt. Do you have anything, Dr. Biggett, you want to add?
Yeah, I would say that is very true. Do your very best to be open to this person. Do your very best to start afresh. Now I do say is what do your very best, because being a grief coach, as you mentioned, a lot of time it is subconscious. It's a lot of time people say, after they work with me for what's a different thing, they say, "Oh gosh, now I can see why I did that with that person. So now I can see why I do X, Y, Z with my poor husband or wife, and thankfully the guy is still here. Now I can see, oh gosh, that things that happens and so forth, or why I can see why I did something yesterday, right? And so do your very best, but at the same times, if you do have an experience that you are aware that you might still be affected by, then you want to allow support. If you are aware and you say, okay, number one, if you are aware of it, let's say you say, oh, I tend to get, and because your mind and your system does not say, hey, be mindful now. You see that your best friend parents uh, get a divorce because the father cheated on the mother. Therefore, be mindful now. You might act suspicious to a guy, and that's not how your mind would work. Your mind, your system would be subconsciously just make you on guard, for instance. Or if somebody come to you and they truly has an emergency, and then the next thing you say is, I think I give an example of that in my book actually. The next thing you say is, oh my god, the guy must to be lying, well, they actually have an emergency, and then the next thing you know is you attacking them, or you sitting here ruminating and worrying about them, and so forth. Anybody have done this? Something happened, you're like, you can't stop your mind. And so that if that something happened like that, if you notice that you're reacting to something, that's usually that this very commonly a sign of a past trauma that you might not even aware what happened, but it is time, if you don't want it to keep disrupting your life, to receive help, to get to the bottom of it and recover from it. But yeah, it is one of those things that you want to be as an open canvas, so to say, to be as open as possible, to heal your heart. If your heart need to be healed, heal your heart so your heart can be open and available to receive as much as to give.
Hear that, Dr. Biggett, be open as a canvas. I think that's really beautiful. And just enjoy the ride and feel the attraction. And and I know sometimes, like when you fall in love with somebody, you respect their opinions and stuff. And even when you disagree, you value their perspective. But if you disagree, don't um, lie to them and make them feel, because you want that person to fall in love with the real you. And the real you is what makes exciting when you disagree with somebody and say, honey, okay. You have to be very, very playful when you speak to somebody, not like taking life too serious. Don't let that person get to know somebody that you think they want to know. Your real you has to come forward. And if they don't like the real you, that means that relationship was never meant for you. For me, I always say, where there is God, there can never be any judgment. Some people are born judgmental, So you don't want to date somebody who'll be judging you all the time. So that would be another red flags as well. If you date somebody who's judgmental, but in that process, when you fall in love with somebody, when you speak, you like when you're like restaurants, when you're booking restaurants, it's early stages. Don't say, wow, I like Chinese, but I didn't want to offend him and stuff. Just tell the guy or say, okay, honey, we, because we just start evaluating where you've been for a minute. Just say, okay, honey, you like Indian. We've been to Indian. We've been for this one, but we haven't been really in a restaurant that I like. So I think it is my turn. But if it is his turn or whatever you feel it is turn, but don't agree to everything. There are some people like when they fall in love, they're like, okay, let's do this. Okay, what time? Okay. See you at 11 o'clock. Okay, everything is okay. So you just have to, because these are two worlds that are linking together. You just have to be love connects people based on authenticity. Anything that is put on, it will fade away. Maybe years later, or because that person will get fed up of putting on that personality. Uh, I had this situation with my daughter. It happens in a relationship as well. Some people eating food that they don't like. I hate kiwi. My daughter put a school that mommy likes kiwi. And I think she bought kiwi wanting me to eat. And I was like, I closed my eyes and I ate it and I ate it. And I was like, oh, that's disgusting. So there are things that I do with my children because like love is like that. But then when they start understanding, then I have to explain that I don't really like to do this. Would you like to go and ask your dad to take you because you like it? And then their dad as well, if he has something that they're doing, and I would be like, no, sir, would you like to take them because I don't really like to do these activities. So it's just the relationship is like that. You just have to be really honest. And what is attractive, guys, is that authenticity people that push away. That is attractive to a woman, to a man as well. And because the man is like, wow, you're authentic. And they like that, being authentic. So just don't put on the personality. Like for me, what you guys see on social media in real life, that's the person that I am. I don't fake it. So if you don't like me, you don't hang out with me. If I meet a guy or if I meet clients and stuff, I don't fake it. I'm not trying to, I'm not gonna try to sell them something that they don't want to buy. It's either this is how I work, are you ready to work with me, or you don't. So I'm not gonna try to push you or anything. But that authenticity, when you meet somebody, you are like, I hear you, I wanna be with you. I don't know where this is going. To be honest, I don't know how our tomorrow is gonna look like, but that is exciting. Let's see. Um, do you have advice, Dr. Biggett, for these people that don't understand about self-love? Because the self-love, it actually, when you enter a relationship and if you don't understand it, it really, really destroys it. It destroys a relationship if someone does not love themselves enough.
Yeah, I hear you, and I would very much agree because it's everything start with you. If you don't love yourself, and how could anybody else love you? Sometimes people say, I just wish XYZ and people love me and this and that. But then they go home and they look at themselves and then you go back to the earlier thing. How am I'm not enough, good enough. I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. And then a step further is, oh, I just hate myself with this. I just hate myself with that. I just hate myself. And if you hate yourself, we mentioned earlier, when you fall in love with somebody, even if you don't say anything, they can feel it. It works the opposite way. This is very classic with people who work with me with grief, regardless of the cause of grief. They walk in the room, and people even around them can feel it. Even though many people prior to working with me, they try to put on a strong face, and they just smile and things like that, even though they are in pain. And in a way that is the same way. You might hate yourself, but you dress pretty to cover it up. You might hate yourself, or you don't love yourself, and you feel this is not enough, that's not enough. But then you put on all this outside appearance, so to say, and so forth. But inside, you really don't feel it, and people can feel it. People can really, really feel it. Actually, they kind of say, pardon the harsh word, but they know it's fake. And so if you don't love yourself, or if you hate yourself and you're not able to love yourself, even after hearing that it is good to love yourself, again, that's usually with people, it's usually because something happened in your life that interfere you to be able to do that. And it's not necessarily your fault, right? I mean, if you grow up and being told, look at the next door neighbor kid. Look at how best, well behaving they are. Look at that kid. They got A plus. You only got C in school. Look at that kid. That one. See that one dancing so beautifully. Look at you. You're such a clumsy, ugly ducklings. Happened with me. And look at you. There's that. And then you're like, so, so. And then, of course, you are, and it's not easy to discover yourself. But if you're not able to love yourself, number one, please know it's almost never your fault. It is part of growing up, living, and so forth. Now you do, as an adult, has the ability and the responsibility, not just the ability, the responsibility. The grief recovery specialist said you're feeling always valid, and you have that 1% responsibility to take action. To change things if it's not the way you want to. If you notice that, oh, you love somebody, and then the person seems to just notice something about you, or you want to be able to love somebody, and you want them to love you, but then something in you just caught you, and maybe you're the one that run, right? Whether you actually run because you're afraid of them, or you start kind of doubting yourself, and then ruining everything, then just know it's not your fault. And at the same time, you have the responsibility to take proper actions now as an adult to change any part of you that you don't like, any result that you don't like, and improve it and make yourself be available for love in a good way, not in that, again, we're not talking about, like earlier we said, don't be a doormat, so to say, because you don't want to be doormat forever.
I like that, Dr. Bigot, when you're saying it, don't compare yourself with someone. I think it's really, really important. No, never ever compare, because the minute you compare your life with someone, or you compare your life with their exes, the minute you steal your joy. So enjoy the ride in a relationship, and just celebrate their wins with them. Be honest about your feelings. When you're honest with someone, you know you're falling for them. When you admire them a lot, you know you know you're falling for them, when you support their growth, when you appreciate their ordinary, when you find their flaws enduring, when you make time for them as well, when you crave their touch, it means you want to be with that person. When you feel safe with them, when you listen instantly to them, you hear them, you care for them. So those are the things that shows that you truly, truly love. And the list it goes on, guys. And you miss them easily. You're selfless. You feel inspired about with them as well. You want to impress them. I never want to impress the guy, guys. I've learned that the hard way. When you go deep with personal development, you walk in your own lane. You don't do things to impress nobody anymore. You love. There's a big, big difference between loving and impressing. You you don't dress to impress them. Because when you dress them, you find out the things like kind of clothes, like they'll tell you, when you're wearing this, there's some things that when you're wearing them, they make you look more sexy. So they're allowed to say, you know what, when you're wearing that, wow, your body, it feels like it looks like a heaven and stuff. So you're allowed to do all those things and maybe just dress up for them and stuff, but don't dress. The idea of you dressing not to impress anybody is to understand the self-love that is all about you. What do you think, Dr. Vike?
Yeah, I think it's something you want to do. It's nothing wrong to dress for somebody because if you're doing it because it's fun.
Yeah,
Let's say you're going out or something, or you are having a night in, and then you're like, hey, you, I'm gonna wear this something cute, what have you. It's nothing wrong to be doing that.
yeah, you're not impressing, but you want to look good.
Yeah, you kind of fun,
Yeah,
okay, I want to wear this special undies that's fun. And then you go out, you want to wear something that is fun, no different than, of course you wear different thing at the different scenario, but it is something that you do because you actually find them fun, because you actually having fun doing them, instead of, oh, I'm gonna wear this or that because I think that will please them, even though I don't personally care about it. That's a whole different story. It's like, oh, I must wear high heels. I'm giving an example. I must wear high heels because I think that will make me look more elegant and this and that. And that's what I think she wants, right? I must wear makeup. That's another good one. Many women do that. I got to wear makeup and the because I think that's what the guys want. And then you discover that most guy kind of like, I think every gentleman I have spoke with, and I happen to ask just casually, so you prefer women with a lot of makeup or not? They're like, oh God, please, no makeup, right? And
they
so,
can't even notice. Like sometimes I don't wear makeup anymore, so I stopped wearing makeup. And I only wear makeup when I'm taking pictures and stuff. So, and then their dad goes, when you're leaning on me, please, do you mind my shirt? I'm like, I'm feeling offended right now. And it is like, why? I'm like, I am not wearing makeup. So you mean you don't see the difference? So yeah, so that's why I'm saying you just dress for yourself.
yeah, just
Like,
do things that
yeah.
fun, not because of what have you, because you feel obligated. Don't do that because that's not fun and that's not sustainable.
Yeah, I've got a meeting right now at 2 p.m. at 2 o'clock, guys. So, yeah, I agree with Dr. Bigot. Me, I love high heels, guys. I like wearing my trainers when I'm walking, but when I'm dressing, I got to wear high heels. It makes me walk feel like a woman. It makes me feel good. I don't like flip-flops and stuff, but I like to dress up because life is too short. So there are some things that you as a woman like. So keep your identity as well. Or a man that you like, keep your identity. Don't buy love. Love is free. Don't say I need to have a Lamborghini for a woman to fall in love with me. No, women loves you for who you are. Car is a bonus that comes with it. It's a beautiful thing, but they don't like to date poor guys who are lazy. So or women who are lazy. So that one is say no, 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 guys. We need people to work, have plans and goals. So I'm gonna leave you guys with this. When you fall in love, don't lose your identity, like I said before. And also enjoy the ride. I don't know how I can explain enjoying the ride. What does it mean? Is the feeling that you have never felt before. Like when you do things, you feel so alive. Let you feel so alive in that process with no regrets. Don't say if I give him all, but you can't give him your heart. A heart is meant to share. Share your heart with the guy. Don't hand it over to say, okay, you can take it, share it, and then be okay when things don't work out. Be okay with it. Share your world as well. Don't hand over your world, meaning have a social life outside as well, your relationship. Any words of encouragement, Dr. Biggett?
I would agree. You want to love is about sharing. Love is not about here's my life and everything else become yours. It's sharing. It's mutual. It's give and takes. And if you haven't been finding love, or you didn't hear we touch that you sometimes need help, that's okay too. Talking about encouragement, sometimes people say, yeah, well, I don't know, man. I have all these things before. That's okay. It's never too late. I have clients who are in their 70s before they discover love. And so it's never too late. And if this holidays is a little bit too hard for you because of multiple reasons, perhaps because love, lost love, and you feel that you needing support and you grieving, then you're welcome also to join to my holiday navigating grief through the holiday and beyond, which will be on the 6th of December. But wherever you are with your journey of love, just know it's not too late and there is hope.
Thank you guys for watching. Please do share our videos. Please do subscribe to our channel and join the group on Facebook as well. And Live with Grace. Go to the website. Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency. The website is everywhere, guys. And if you're looking for love, uh, come and find love with us. God bless. Live with Grace.